Hello and welcome to Heavy Metal Rex. My name is Wace, and today, as you can see, we are finally doing a brake install. Now, we're not doing this on my car, but you guys may remember a couple of months ago, I helped Xavier install the AFE Takeda, the little horn exit exhaust, which is actually pretty cool that it's still on the car and kicking a lot of ass. But today, this is something we talk about a lot, is what type of brakes to put on your WRX. I know a lot of people prefer to, or want to get a big brake kit, but honestly, it's really not, it's not that necessary. You get some .4, which surprisingly this car does not come with from the factory. These are some slotted DBA brake rotors, front and rear, and we're just gonna throw on some EBC reds, which I think for the street, this setup is more than enough for daily driving, light autocross, very light track days, and just if you're mainly sticking on the street, this is more than enough than you need. So the installation should be pretty simple. I have changed brake pads before. Last year I did put on the EBC yellows on my car. I mean, it took me maybe 35 minutes to do the fronts. This, again, shouldn't take very long. Plus, I got 3 people here. Xavier is actually here and his friend Jeff is here, so we're all gonna be tackling different wheels. I will be showcasing how to do the front, at least one front and one rear, and then the rest we'll just wrap it up. And then we'll go for a drive and have Xavier tell you exactly how it feels, because he actually goes on a lot of cruises with a lot of really high horsepower cars. So he'll be able to tell you exactly how different the car feels after we get these installed.
All right, so before I get started, I want to show you guys, there's two bolts back here. There's these up here that actually hold the caliper, and then there's these here, this is actually the caliper bracket. We're actually going to try it 2 different ways. On the other side, they're going to take off just the caliper bolts and remove this whole assembly as one piece. I'm actually going to take these off so we can do the brakes, and then take these off so you can see kind of on both sides how it works. It might be easier to just take this off and remove this whole assembly. I just worry that this is really heavy and maybe a little unwieldy, but we're gonna try it both ways.
So definitely doing things a little bit different. I'm adding some voiceovers on this video because I realized as I was going through it, and by we I mean me, I missed a couple of clips, I had some camera issues, and we kind of ended up having a rush because I had a hard stop in the afternoon. I forgot to mention the caliper bolts that actually hold the calipers are 12 mil, and the caliper brackets are 19 mil. So this is something that I apologize I did not add when I originally talked about it. Here, as you can see, I'm taking this off. In the video prior, I did mention that I was going to try to take just the caliper bolts off. You'll see later on, in hindsight, it was actually better to remove the caliper itself because it was much easier to put the brake pads in with the caliper out. This was something that I had a lot of trouble with. Actually, on both sides, we actually had a lot of trouble, especially when we were putting the grease on and the damn brake pad kept slipping out of my hand. So that was really annoying. So I actually ended up doing what they did on the other side and just took off the 19 millimeter bolts. There's just 2 of them back there. And now I've got access to the whole caliper. So I guess you don't really have to. What's gonna end up, actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, the issue I'm gonna have is being able to go over that with my C-clamp, because we do need to be able to compress the pistons down. But we'll get to that shortly. What I've done is I've actually just placed the whole caliper assembly into the suspension over here. While it's up here, I can work on removing the actual rotor. Check to see if I have one, but I really don't think. Oh yeah, this thing just like pop right off.
You have steel wool or?
No, I'm not sure.
Sandpaper?
So 2 things happening here. I actually did not have any particular steel wool, and the best I had was this steel wool spinny attachment for my Dremel. So we basically got all the big chunks off, all the hubs, and it seemed to be fine. DBA does say that it needs to be immaculate because of whatever minimal tolerance CNC machining they do. I think that this is fine. I mean, as you can see, it's about as best as I was able to do it with that small attachment. Now, a second part that I want to discuss about here is I actually wanted to put the rotor on and kind of spin it to make sure everything was okay, because this is the side that Xavier did hit his pothole, and we wanted to make sure that there was nothing going on. And at first I thought it was, but really it was just the rotor not being completely, obviously it's not torqued, so it's not really up to spec, so I just wanted to at least try out. But if you fast forward, I actually put on all 5 of the lug nuts and just tested it, just kind of spun it and looked at the dust shield to see maybe if there was any space in between it. It looked like there was when I only had 2 lug nuts on, and I actually spun it around here, as you can see, with the light to just make sure that it is okay. And it turned out that it was actually fine. At least visually, it was fine. So here, as you can see, I'm actually just pushing the piston back using a C-clamp. But if I fast forward, you'll see that I have the caliper cover flipped over, but putting the brake pads in the caliper cover like that was actually a really big pain in the ass. And also there was some pretty sharp bits. I actually cut my thumb because you can see, contrary to what I normally do, I'm not wearing my gloves. And I'm also all completely turned around. I was actually I was trying to put the brake pad in backwards. Man, watching this video, I look like such an idiot trying to do this right now. I feel so embarrassed. Okay, ran into some technical difficulties with my camera, but while the camera battery was dead, I actually had some trouble putting the pads actually in. So what I ended up doing was taking the actual caliper away, the bracket off the caliper, and then putting everything in. And there is obviously a specific way you need to do this. We did clean, and I'll show you this again as I get a little bit closer. The hardware, EBC for whatever reason does not actually come with grease and hardware. So we ended up just cleaning it. I had a Dremel with like a steel wool thingy on the front, and that cleaned it up. We could still have to double check the torque specs for everything, but since there's 3 of us, so we got 3 wheels done, and we're gonna do the last one in the back. And there's some things, I don't think there's not much different back there, but we'll take a look. Overall, this is really easy to do, and anyone with the right tools can do this at home. Now, thankfully, there's 3 of us, so we're actually doing it 3 times as fast, except me, because I'm recording, so I'm like the slowest one. But we're gonna move to the back and see what that looks like. So here in the back, it's pretty much the same process as the front. You got the 2 caliper bolts, and then you've got the 2 caliper bracket bolts. Remove those, and the whole thing comes off. Nice thing is it's a lot smaller and easier to manage and move around. Something you'll notice here is, I didn't talk about it when I put in the brake pads in the front, was lubing them up. So basically, the EBCs don't come with lube and they don't come with hardware, so you have to reuse the metal hardware that's on the caliper itself and then just get your own lube. Thankfully, our buddy brought some lube, and I ended up putting some lube on the shim in the back, the black area on the back of the caliper, and also on the edges. You can see me here doing that on the edges. Pretty much anywhere that is gonna move, you wanna put lube. And here you can see I have cut myself again because I'm not wearing my gloves. Here you can see me putting the lube on the back of it. These black shims actually come with the EBC. And once I do that, you'll see me putting them on the sides as well, just on the top and the bottom, because that's the area that's going to be moving back and forth, because that's the piston is going to push it back and forth. So minimize any squeaking as much as you can. And once everything is clean, I believe that hole that is on the actual caliper or the rotor needs to be over like some of these springs in the back. I'm not 100% sure about that, so you were talking about this. And it's these 2 springs, I guess. I don't really know. Please do not quote me on this stuff. I have to research on this exactly why that's important, but apparently we kind of do that. This is Jeff. This is Xavier's friend. He's very knowledgeable, so he was explaining that to me, so that's something new that I learned. But I'm not too familiar with it on the WRX, so maybe if you guys know, you can comment down below. Once everything is on, we're putting the caliper bracket back on, putting the caliper, the bolts, the caliper itself back on. Already pushed the piston back with my C-clamp, which is very easy, just a giant C-clamp, and use an old brake pad, and it's really not a big deal. Just want to point out that we used a couple of different torque specs. It took a minute to actually find these, and I believe that these are correct. The caliper bolts themselves, we did about 20 pound-foot, and for the actual caliper brackets, we did about 99 pound-foot. I'm pretty sure that's right. That was for the front. The rear was about the same that we could find. It was 19 or 20 for the actual caliper, and about 81 or 82 for the caliper bracket. Hopefully that is correct. Everything seems to be fine. If you have different numbers, please let us know. I would definitely be more than happy to go back and retorque everything, since it doesn't really take a whole lot. Now this is the footage I actually did not have. Jeff was actually on the floor undoing the bleeder, and Xavier was in the seat pumping, and here you can see I was actually going through some brake fluid. The order that we went, and the order that I pretty much always go, and God, I hope it's right, because I couldn't really find this information anywhere, was always the caliper furthest all the way to the caliper that's closest. So we started with the passenger rear, passenger rear, driver rear, and then passenger front, and then driver front. And that's kind of how we went. Obviously, the furthest one took the most, and we ended up using 3 bottles of RBF 600, only because the fluid that was coming out was so clear, except one, the front right fluid was actually quite dirty compared to all of the other ones. And in this next clip, I'll show you exactly what that looks like. Here you can actually see, this is actually all the fluid that came from the back right. This was the front right. So we actually ended up putting extra fluid just to make sure that it cleared out. And this is just what it looked like after a while. So definitely went through 3 bottles of RBF 600 just in case. If you're, again, when it comes to fluid like this, I'm pretty paranoid about it. So I'm glad that Jeff actually brought the 3rd bottle because we ended up using all 3 of them. Unfortunately, we're gonna run out of time. I actually have to leave here in a few minutes, so I can't go on the drive with them, but there's a whole guide on EBC's website on how to break in or bed the reds. It's not very complicated with the reds like it is with the yellows. They're actually gonna go and do that, but right now they're getting the wheels torqued on, and I mean, other than that, they're ready to go. I think it took, this was about 2.5 hours? Yeah. It took, we got here about 2:30, about 2:45 years, I'd say you guys started. Yeah. So it's not that bad. If you do decide to go with these, I'll have the link for this rotors and these pads in the description down below if you're interested. Our shop does sell them. I'd be more than happy to help you get a set. I actually believe I'm probably gonna go with this set too, because I just like the way that these look with the way that the slots are, and it's fairly inexpensive. I mean, this whole setup was about $1,000. And I think, again, like I said, for most people who are driving this on the road, you don't need anything more than reds. So hopefully this video was somewhat informative. I try to do my best to showcase as much of the stuff and some of the things that we ran into, which I just did the voiceover afterwards. So if you have any questions, put them down in the comments, or as you guys always know, you can just message me on Instagram and I'd be more than happy to help you out. So anyway, we'll see you guys in the next one.